Hey, what's up, hardheads? Welcome back to my channel, and I'm here to review American Horror Story 1984, Episode 8, titled Rest in Pieces. Alright, so I'm not going to completely review this whole episode here because, this episode was kind of one of my least favorite, unfortunately, and then got caught up with a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna kind of run through this episode. So pretty much, we began with Donna and Brooke. They're inside a cafe. They run into a journalist. The journalist, saying that Brooke looks familiar. Trying to get all this information. Because apparently, Brooke is dead. She presumed to be dead. But in actuality, it's actually Brooke. So Brooke and Donna is trying to escape. They're like, I'm not taking any chances with this, so let's bounce. So let's get away from this crazy person because I am not trying to get caught because I'm supposed to be dead. And if you guys remember Jonas, the ghost that appeared on episode 1, which was all confusing, with the situation with him, he's walking along the side of the road. And then we get Bruce riding in this pink car, picking up Jonas. And I'm just like, all right, how did Bruce escape? This dude was tied to a tree with his thumbs cut off because, in the last episode, Brooke and Donna cut his thumbs off so he won't hitchhike again, and he was tied to a tree. But then we get a flashback that this woman helped Bruce out because she felt for him. She was like, oh no, this poor man is tied to a tree, but I would call the police. I understand that you're trying to be a good citizen and help, people out, but in her case, it ended bad for her because she helped him out, but then he knocked her ass out, threw her in the trunk, stole her car, and now he's riding in the car with a ghost. Meanwhile, the lady's car that he stole is like inside the trunk, trying to get out, making all this noise. He ends up getting out the car, killing her because, he's trying to get his numbers up there as far as Bundy and, Jeffrey Dahmer, and now, he admired Richard Ramirez, so now he's trying to get his numbers up so he could surpass all of them. And also, if you guys remember in the last episode, Kaja Gugu, the band, died. Richard Ramirez pretty much butchered the whole entire band. Margaret is yelling at poor little Courtney, to tell him to, clean up the mess all by himself, so he ends up doing that by himself. And then he ends up seeing Kaja Gugu alive playing, so he's just like, what the hell is going on there? Like, fucking ghosts, what is up? Pretty much this whole episode kind of just, I don't know, it's kind of like all over the place and just rushed, and a lot of things got on my nerves. So in this episode, just to sum it all up, we got Bruce working with Margaret and Richard Ramirez because Bruce ends up finding his way to the camp to find Brooke and Donna to try to kill them and get revenge. And he runs into them in the middle of Mr. Jingles and Richard Ramirez fight because Mr. Jingles, is now alive as a ghost, and he can't die, so he's trying to fight Richard Ramirez as a ghost, but he ends up losing because you got the ghost trying to attack Mr. Jingles because they still feeling salty that they're ghosts and they still blaming him for their death. And even though Mr. Jingles has a part in it, it's not necessarily his fault. And if you think about it, like I said on the last video, he didn't really even kill half those people there. It was mostly, he did kill a majority of those people there, but again, it wasn't his fault. It was more so his mama and Margaret's fault. But Xavier and I think Chet and a few others shouldn't be upset at Mr. Jingles. Mr. Jingles tried to kill Xavier, but Xavier was still alive. But in actuality, Margaret was the one that killed them. But for some reason, they're just still obsessed with Mr. Jingles. But Mr. Jingles' whole obsession is to try to kill Richard Ramirez so he won't go after his son. Because if you guys also remember in that episode, Mr. Jingles had his son, and Richard Ramirez promised that he will go after his little kid, his little boy Bobby, now that he know that he's still alive and all that other stuff. Also in this episode, we got Trevor and Montana hooking up. Trevor is in love with Montana, always have been. He's tired of Margaret because, they got that false marriage going on. And, he's telling Montana, I want to be with you. He's thinking about killing himself. And Montana's just like, no, why would you do that? But at the same time, that would be cool. But Mr. Jingles also reminded her, when they was talking about their whole ghost stuff or whatever, that she's part of the reason why Richard Ramirez is the way he is. He grew worse, in what he's doing. And Montana is feeling some guilt about that. So she's trying to push Trevor away because she's like, you know what? I only attract crazy people. That's all I ever want. Trevor, you're too much of a good guy. So she's trying to push him off because she don't want him to fall into that, fucked up world that she has going on, you know, in her life, even though, well, lack thereof life, because she's a ghost. So she's trying to push him away, but long story short, Trevor's not having it. You know, he still want to be there with her. So they got that whole little thing going on. And also we got the reporter working with Donna and Brooke. You know, they end up taking her back into the camp where everything happened. Brooke tries to kill the reporter or the journalist, and the journalist ends up escaping because Donna's like, no, Brooke, you're not a killer, you're not doing this. So the journalist is running, and she ends up being killed by Richard Ramirez and Bruce. And Margaret is just sitting there just watching the whole thing, and that's when she kind of planned the whole and orchestrated the whole entire thing. And I also forgot to mention that Margaret seen Trevor in Montana coming out like the house or like one of those campers or whatever you want to call it, a cabin. And I guess she's feeling some type of way. Even though she don't like Trevor, she's still feeling some type of way. So Margaret got this elaborate plan that she wants the, you know, the serial killer, she wants all of them to work together to kill all the bands that's coming into the camp, you know, to support that whole situation that she got going on so she can make a lot of money. They plan on killing, you know, well, they already killed Kajagoogoo. They plan on killing, you know, just all the other bands that's supposed to come there, like Flock of Seagulls, and just all the, I guess, major 80s bands there. And Richard Ramirez was just like, no, don't touch Billy Idol, you know, love that dude, nobody touches them or whatever. So she's like, all right, whatever, cool. So she has that whole plan going on. So we are going to see if all that goes down. And throughout this episode, Mr. Jingles attempts to kill Richard Ramirez, but the ghosts of Xavier and everybody that died at the camp keep getting in the way. So he keeps failing, and it's just not happening. So, you know, Xavier and a couple other ghosts end up stabbing Mr. Jingles up, putting him on a boat, and just leaving him off into the lake or whatever. And even though he's already a ghost, Xavier told him, like, every time you keep coming back alive, we're going to keep killing you. Like, this is going to be your thing forever. And after that happened, we get this iconic scene of Mr. Jingles in a boat in the middle of a lake. And he notices Montana from across the lake or whatever. So as he's looking at her, this zombie boy comes up from behind him in the middle of the lake, drags him into the lake, and then the boat flips over. And if you guys are familiar with that scene, is from Friday the 13th, the first one, of course, because this whole entire season I've been paying homage to Friday the 13th and a lot of slashers, but mostly, you know, the Jason films. But if you guys remember in the first one, that happened to Adrienne King, who plays, I think her name was Alice, in Friday the 13th, where Jason's mom does most of the killing, but Jason, as a little boy, everything is ending, and she's in the middle of a lake, and the police is coming, and Jason comes up as a little boy, you know, as a zombie, and drags her into the lake. And that's that same exact scene that we got in this episode here. But then we go into Mr. Jingles talking to his mom, and then he notices Bobby's there, not his son, but his brother from when he was you know, a child. And, you know, he's just like, how's this happening? And his mom was just like, we found peace, you know, we're going to, you know, we're going to be happy here, you're going to be happy here. And the mom actually seems like she's okay with Jingles now. And I think it's because she found Bobby. And I think she's at peace now. And she was telling Mr. Jingles, you know, this place here, we have peace. You don't have to worry about all those other goals. You're here with us, and everything should be okay. So we kind of get this weird, and that's how it ends. And we kind of get this weird situation of like, how's the show gonna go? Because that's how it ends, and it's just like, okay, messed up, but at the same time, it's just like, do we actually care? Because Mr. Jingles already goes, he took himself out, he finding peace, alright, cool, but with this show, it's just like, how much further can you go? And the season finale is next, so I'm hoping in the season finale that we get some good shit. But we'll see. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought about this episode. Let me know in the comments below. I will have Shanice in the season finale, so look out for that video right after this one. And yeah, let me know what you think about this episode and the season so far. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.